Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Mood Connect podcast. I'm your host, Amy Uzunian, and I'm the CEO and founder for Mood Connect. Um, it's a really just such a pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you about some of the things that we're doing in the Mood Connect, in our community, and some of the events that we're doing right now in October. Um, and today I have a really awesome guest. She is just such a warm and wonderful person who I met on Clubhouse a couple of months ago. And she's just really taking the world by storm. I love to say, with her knowledge in the realm of mental health and wellness, nutrition, and in just helping people uh, to normalize health and wellness and work into their lives more healthier and better ways of living. Um, uh, so please help me to welcome our guest, uh, who is the CEO and founder of East West Functional Training. Leslie Dowling, welcome to Mood Connect podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and it's really wonderful that we met through Clubhouse on an app. How the world is changing in so many levels. So it's great to be here.
Great to have you here with us. And before we kind of like launch into, talking about your upcoming Mindset Masterclass series that you're doing, hosted by Mood Connect, I wanted to ask you, what were you doing before you started your path in being a nutrition coach and being a functional nutrition coach and doing that kind of work?
Yeah, I think it all stemmed from, I think first of all, we've all done a lot of soul searching through being on lockdown. And I really had to dig deep about just taking my business to another level. But what came to fruition was that um, my grandmother, who was raised on a farm in Italy, she came here back in the 30s and raised her family. And as a little girl, she always instilled, Mother Nature, growing gardens and herbs. And she really created that beautiful foundation for me to really be outdoors, be really connected as one. I'm sorry, I have my dog here, Finnegan. He just wants to be loved.
We
But
love
anyway,
animals. We love
yeah,
animals and children and the
that's
elderly.
it.
We love them all.
But
So
so I think that's where it started. And I was always, my family was always very active. We were always into sports. So I was the kid that my mother said, all right, you guys go outside, go play. I'd be, climbing trees. I'd be active, always into sports. I was more of a tomboy. And that evolved with playing high school and college team tennis. So in that respect, I was always very fit, always eating clean. So I knew I had these wonderful tools that someday maybe I would do something with that. But I took the path of getting my bachelor of science degree in marketing. And I was working for Masco Corporation for a while in product development. They have a lot of subsidiaries like Delta Faucet, Baldwin Hardware. So I was always in the forefront of doing trade shows in the public eye. I took Dale Carnegie classes, and a little side note, I was an extra in a movie with Woody Allen as a little girl. So I always loved to just be with people, be in the public eye in that respect. So I've always had a natural ability to speak. and speak my passion and share and help others. So after raising 3 sons, I decided several years ago to go back for my board certification in as a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner, because I knew I had the tools to teach people how to mentally and physically balance that mindset, being also competitively as an equestrian. So I'm still eventing and showing. So I always knew that balance was so key, because when you're galloping through a field and jumping on through jumps, even in my 50s now, you have to be there. You got to be in the present moment. And I thought, okay, now that I'm going back to school, I'm getting my certifications and taking a really deeper dive into the physiology, the cellular level of all the different systems. And the founder of our school, Andrea Nakayama, started this over 20 years ago through functional nutrition labs. And I love the beauty of her integrating lifestyle modalities, taking into consideration what is going on at home, the dynamics of the family, your relationship with food. That is so critical, because a lot of people, might have a bad taste in their mouth with associating food to you're too heavy, you're too thin, eating on the go, or just not having a beautiful bond and relationship with what Mother Earth really provides. So I know there's a lot of nutritionists out there, and they're pushing to like get those, certain calories, the carbs, the proteins, but the foundation has to be set. And that's what's so critical. So that's kind of how I evolved, doing public speaking, lectures to companies locally, and having a really thriving private practice. But on lockdown, I knew I had to reset that and try to figure out how I was going to take my business to the next level. So that's kind of how I've evolved. And I love what I've learned. I love, and I'm passionate about really speaking into the knowledge, the education, and the years of eating a clean lifestyle to help others.
Wonderful. It's awesome. Yes. I mean, wow. I mean, that's so amazing that you had uh this very public kind of life, in speaking and doing public speaking and being so active in the entertainment kind of industry and all of that, previously. And wow, it's what an incredible life. And it's so wonderful that you finally decide to pursue your passion in being a lifestyle nutrition coach, and helping people in improving their own health and wellness. It's such a gift that we can take the knowledge that we have and share it with others, and make this kind of knowledge that we've obtained be accessible to other people, it's just so wonderful. um well, and so you said that you have a very thriving personal practice, with your own personal clients. Did that kind of thing change a lot, with the pandemic starting? Like, have you been really overwhelmed with a lot of the clients that have, the volume of that's come to you?
Yeah, and really, I really worked one-on-one with clients to where they're comfortable, because there are some people that I'm working with now that are still hesitant working one-on-one, or because of autoimmune issues, they're not vaccinated. So respectfully, that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of going virtually. And as we all see, even on Clubhouse, a lot of people that are kind of in the same boat as me had to really reset and rethink the way that they were going to continue practice, to to be able to work with people. And that's what is so wonderful about, virtual. As much as I am a people person, I'm so passionate about working one-on-one with individuals and being in the present with them physically, just being there. That we didn't have that. And I think a lot of people really miss that. But so yeah, at the end of the day, I just had to get myself technologically at a level that I was able to figure out how to do all this virtual business. So I'm still learning and I'm still evolving, but I'm not afraid to try things. I always push, and push for advance and technology as much as I try to rein people in and say, come on, let's get grounded now. I mean, as much as the virtual is wonderful, we are humans and we need that interaction and we need that human touch. And we really have, we've missed that over the past, 2 years, but we're slowly integrating back. We are located on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. So I know some areas. I went to visit my son at Wake Forest in North Carolina, and you had to mask when you go into establishments, and I do that respectfully. So we are still trying to figure out how we're navigating through this, the new strains, and it's just a new way of shifting our lifestyle, and that's why I feel so passionate about all that I've learned, all that I have gone through to really help others, because we are living virtually, we're living environmentally in another realm. And all the food that is now processed, and really having people become advocates and empowering themselves to start reading labels. It's like a domino effect, but we have one body. This is a vessel that we should really respect and embrace. So I try to integrate the spiritual end too, because I also am a Reiki practitioner, and I started working with horses, practicing Reiki on them, and I work with people. But because I'm very intuitive, it really gives me an advantage to get to know and have a beautiful relationship and bond with the clients I work with, which sometimes that is lacking in the medical field. And that's where the practitioners doing functional nutrition, we are the liaison between the practitioners and the patients.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Reiki. I've known a lot of people who are practitioners of Reiki who, teach like Reiki certifications and things of that nature. Like, uh, how did you get, interested in Reiki, and like, how long did it take for you to get to the level where you're at right now?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think everybody practices differently. There's all different levels and types of Reiki that people practice. I was always very intuitive. As a little girl, I just thought everybody could read people. I just feel people's energy. I was the one that would say, can you tell me, what is your story? I want to hear it. When you were little, what did you do? And, so I consider myself an old soul. My mom was very into numerology, astrology. My grandmother from Italy was very intuitive. So I think I was always open to that. I wasn't afraid of that. And I knew I always had that in the back of my mind calling me, like, someday you're going to do something. Sorry about that. You're going to do something, related to Reiki, spirituality. So I had that validation. And when I practice and work on people, it's really like I'm the vessel where there is like a spirit world coming through me. And I always preface it with my patients like that, I might be seeing something, symbols. Usually it's like a ticker tape parade where I'm envisioning something. So I just tell people, it could be literally, figuratively, or somebody's coming from the other side to share something. So that's the way that I operate and work. And I was working on, just quickly example, on a woman who I met 2 times. She told me that she was a widow, and that her husband passed 2 years ago. And that's when I was working in a fitness center doing Reiki and functional nutrition. And I was doing fitness too. And I just had a vision of me walking into a 2-car garage detached from the home, but it was very well lit, like a hardware store, and everything was put in its place. And I told this woman, it could be that now you are starting a new journey in your life and you're finding new tools to navigate through, as now without your partner. So when I was done working on her, she looked at me and she said, my husband was really into woodworking, and he loved his shop, and he gutted the garage, this 2-car garage, and he was very meticulous in everything. And I said, that could validate that he wanted me to tell you that he's here with you today. So, so I don't take it for granted. I know that I tapped into it as a child, and I help people out, and I really create that for people to be more open. And when they tap into that subconscious, it really helps them with just kind of building that foundation like a house, and figuring out why things happen in their lifestyle, and ways that they can just improve, just eating cleaner, eating healthy. So yeah, it's just a beautiful package that I try to embrace and give to others.
Wonderful, and so, did it take very many years for yourself to feel comfortable with, with getting to this place where you are doing Reiki and intuitive feedback to people, or is it just something that you just innately just always felt very natural with doing? Um,
Well,
and one question I have also
sure.
um, have you ever had someone who, was skeptical about, about the work that you do, and how do you usually respond to that?
Yeah, that's a great question, because, I was in the other side, not in the driver's seat, as a Reiki practitioner. And for years, I always wanted to know about past life regression. I was just so open to it. My mother was a designer, a hosiery designer. So we lived right outside of Manhattan, and we were always around creative people, artistic people, people that were intuitive. But I always wanted to know and take a deeper dive to really bring out my spirituality. And it took me until I was in my mid 40s when I decided, I opened up a book and I saw Sedona, Arizona, and something kind of drew me in. And I thought, thank God, God willing, someday I want to go there. And I was just very lucky to be able to take the children and my husband. And now we go every year. We go to the Boynton Canyons. And I had a lot of work done, past life regression, different types of Reiki. And that really took me to another level. And it really opened me up. And when I hit about 50, I thought, you know what? People that resonate, that feel that energy, that camaraderie, that comfort, will be attracted to me for Reiki. And the people that are kind of on the border, they're not really ready for Reiki. You really have to be open and ready for it. And the people that are skeptics, people that I worked on, my husband is very black and white, analytical in finance. He was like, Reiki what? You mean Reiki the leaves? So he's like, was on the other spectrum. I worked on him. The guy passed out for half an hour in a deep sleep. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe how I was so wound up. And whatever you did, I felt heat, I felt energy. It just totally relaxed my body like I had a massage. So, until you are open to it, I just say, it's okay. And because I'm good in that spot, I'm attracting people that feel comfortable with me and that get the results that and the changes and the shifts in their life that are taking place.
Yeah. I mean, that's my philosophy too, is, like I gravitate towards people who are a lot like-minded. It's like magnetic attraction, you know? And actually, today is the full moon, and just in and not full moon. I'm sorry, new moon,
You-
and the
Yeah,
new moon reached its dark moon state um just about a couple of hours earlier today. So we're in prime time, for manifestation and attraction, of people into our lives, and really speaking out what we want to manifest today. So I definitely take that opportunity, later this evening, to really get detailed about what you're manifesting.
I love
Um,
that.
but yeah, and people who, aren't receptive to what you're offering, you just say like, okay, it's not for you then. That's all right. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So,
I mean, that's just the way that works best, really, is to not fight things, just to go with the flow, like
sure.
work with in the direction with the people that are wanting to be in your space and work with you, you know? Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your mindset masterclass that you're teaching, hosted by Mood Connect, on October 12th and October 26th. Those 2 dates. Would love to hear a little bit more about, like just a little bit of a taste of what it is you're going to be sharing with people in those classes.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, it really comes down to a lot of us are so, we take for granted all the knowledge that we have. So what I try to do is really start at ground zero, just lecture and speak into what's raw and refined sugar. What are the differences? Being an advocate on when you go into the supermarket, start reading labels, stay away from box products, really just amping it up and start taking inventory of what's going on in your pantry. What do you have in your fridge? Because, a lot of times we're really not thinking about, we're rushing, we're going to the supermarket, we're getting things that might look like it's really healthy, but when you start reading the labels, it can be very misleading. It could say all natural or superfood, and that's where I'm going to slowly take people to start being more proactive with what they're bringing home, and start to bring in seasonal vegetables and fruits, getting back to possibly getting to the farmers markets. And even if your budget is one that won't allow that, you don't have to go crazy bonkers trying to keep all organic. There are certain ways that you can find things in the store, or switch out, maybe not go to the fast food, drive-throughs, and maybe not get the wine, and going out to dinner, and trying to start slowly cooking at home. But also environmental triggers, which people don't realize. They all want the smart TVs, they all want the Bluetooth phones, the ear pods or AirPods, and they don't realize what we're radiated with. There's a lot of triggers. There's some people, even with routers in their bedrooms, are sensitive to that. And those frequencies are vibrating and creating damage to us on a cellular level. So I'm not going to get too techie, but I'm going to kind of gauge and gloss over certain things about the xenoestrogens, why people and why young girls, they're getting their periods at 8 and 9 now. It's the plastics, it's the toxins that we are inhaling. from head to toe. People don't realize they get whatever's on sale for shampoos for their kids. Read what the shampoo is, because our skin is our largest organ. We're absorbing that. Even with my one teenager's home, and even the ones that are in the early 20s, I always, they're always like, hey, mom, is this good deodorant? And I try to, when they're home, get the natural stuff, because deodorants have metals. Your skin is absorbing this. So there are ways. We're never going to get perfectly in a, an environment from over 100 years ago where you could eat everything and be okay. Soil depletion. I'm going to go into a little bit about how that is a domino effect. If we're lacking certain minerals in our fruits and vegetables, we are being depleted. So there are ways that we can just live in this new realm of lifestyle. And with the variants going on, ways that I can give people tips and tools to build their immune system. And it can be as simple as getting the sleep, which is so critical. So, and Finn says the same thing. He says, yes, and I get healthy treats. So, yeah, so at the end of the day, I'll be going over a lot of different modalities to really build your immune system and to try to have your children on a healthier eating plan, and really looking at what you're bringing into the home, and look at what kind of plugins, if you do, with Glade plugins, or some of them are very toxic. And do you have mold in your home that maybe you're not even aware of, depending on how old your house is and where you are living in the country? Here on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of radon that is found in some of the older homes. So there are a lot of different ways that can be affecting us with mood swings, migraines, not just the food you're eating, but what we're surrounding ourselves with. So those are the things that I'll be talking about.
Wow, wonderful. I mean, that sounds amazing. And I'm really excited to learn more in your classes as well, and to have the opportunity to share these classes with with our listeners, and anyone who is interested in learning more about how we can improve our practices in self-care, and our practices in improving our nutrition and the things we buy, the actions we take. It's just so important that we that we are aware of these kinds of things that, I mean, like products can be marketed to us as being solutions for one thing, and then but we're not aware of the problem that they create on another level, right? And so it's so great that you're sharing all this really valuable knowledge, that will help to improve our health, and then in turn also help to increase our wealth, because we're not dealing with all those health issues. So really, really wonderful. And so these classes, they are on October 12th and October 26th, which is my birthday, by the way. Um, and it's going to be going on, it's 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's 6 to 7 Central Standard Time as well. And I mean, like, 60 minutes, an hour long class. We probably will have like a couple of minutes for a Q&A for Leslie, after we're finished with the class. One thing I want to let you know about is if you're able to sign for the class and and show up there in real time for the class, great. But if you are like, oh, my schedule is jam-packed, I won't have time to show up to the live class, you can sponsor a mom through our partnering organization. It's a nonprofit organization called Cherished Moms. It's based in Pennsylvania, actually.
Oh,
And yeah, and what this organization does, it's really great. Cherished Moms, it's a nonprofit organization, and what they do is help moms who are new moms, or moms that are struggling with postpartum depression, soon to become mothers who are dealing with depression and anxiety, in helping them to build their career skills, to get scholarships to go back to school if that's what they're looking to do, and also just provides a support group, a support network for moms who are struggling through postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, which is something that I definitely, like, I experienced after having my daughter, and she's 4 years old now, and I feel like I'm finally coming out of that kind of thing. It takes like two years. I usually say, like, before moms are able to, like, kind of come out of that maze, that brain fog, of like being like, oh, what day is it? um, and really start discovering, reacquainting themselves with themselves, and being able to really more fully receive the path that we're supposed to be walking on, and really want to move forward in that journey, of being women and being mothers also, and having those two things um, uh, be a little bit compartmentalized, because it's like
yeah,
our paths as being mothers, sometimes we forget about ourselves. And so we kind of need to create some boundaries, and say, like, oh, okay, well, yes, I am a mother, but my self-care is a priority in my life, right? Um, so Cherished Moms really encourages that for mothers to prioritize their mental health, to prioritize their self-care. And so if you would like to give a mom from Cherished Moms the opportunity to take this amazing mindset
absolutely.
masterclass that Leslie is teaching, called Mindset Shift, then you can also sign up, and sponsor a mom. And you'll get a recording. People who do that will get a recording of this class, and also a special gift from Mood Connect. There are a couple of gifts that I have in the works that
That's
I
great.
that I'll be providing for people who sponsor moms. Um, but yeah, it's a great way to give back to your community. And I feel like helping mothers in being more successful, it has that domino effect, like we were talking about, that domino effect of helping them to be able to raise really strong and healthy children, and then in turn, uh you know um just building a healthier world, right? I mean, and giving care to our men in this world, is so important also. But really, I mean, women, we birth babies, like, and raise them. A lot of mothers have to do it on their own, not all, but like, a lot of them do. And so it's really wonderful, the work that Cherished Moms is doing, and it's really amazing the work that you're doing, Leslie.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful that we had this opportunity to speak with each other today,
Yeah.
and to
And
learn
and I
more about
wanted to,
you.
yeah, just say that what I'd love to incorporate, and I will add this to the lecture because it was a very lonely journey for me. Because for 3.5 years I couldn't figure out why I couldn't conceive. I was ready. I ready to, have children. And when I first started on this journey 22 years ago, there wasn't all of this support. There wasn't just easily, people that were there to provide really healthy, nutritional ways, I'm sorry, of trying to get through. But I want to definitely do that because some of my clients I'm working with, actually, I put them through a detox before they even start thinking of starting a family, because when you are bearing a child and you're carrying this child, and there's so many toxins that this child is getting before they even come out into this world. So that's something else that I speak into, because I am very active and involved. I don't know if I mentioned, in nonprofit organizations, because giving back to the community is so important to me. And it's so beautiful that, no matter what age you are, find your passion, see what you're calling in life. I mean, it took me over 50 years now, and I'm really using all the tools and everything that I want to help others. So yeah, it could be a beautiful thing when you do find your passion and your calling. Yeah, thanks for having me on today. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing about yourself and the work that you're doing, and and where you want to take this path moving forward. It's just very inspiring. um and yeah, it is so important that we have a strong and healthy vessel, to carry our children, and and to share that with mothers who, whether they're already mothers, or they're hoping to become a mother. It's really important to learn about these things, and to just be healthier. Um, well, thank you again, Leslie, for this time. And to sign up for Leslie's classes, you'll go to the Mood Connect website. That's www.moodconnect.com. And you'll find on the homepage, there's a couple of buttons on there that just say invest in yourself. And that will take you to the Mindset Masterclasses page, where you'll find the registration information for signing up for yourself, and then also for sponsoring a mom through Cherished Moms. And, I mean, I'm really excited about this class, and about the knowledge that we're going to obtain, moving forward in, learning more from you, Leslie. And are there, I mean, just for other people to know about, are there any other projects or rooms in Clubhouse that you want to share about before you leave? Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I'm always busy co-modding. There is the Functional Nutrition Lifestyle um, uh, club on Clubhouse. So we're trying, there are fellow practitioners and I are trying to get this really up and running. So hopefully you'll see me on that. Functional Nutrition and Lifestyle Collective is the name of the club on Clubhouse, the group. Also, if you go on my Instagram is East West Functional Training. My website is eastwestfunctionaltraining.com. If you have any questions, I give half an hour free consultations. And there's a couple of other things in the works right now. I'm launching with a group of fellow practitioners. We're going to have a site on lecturing and, really giving back to the community and talking about the functional realm of lifestyle, modalities. So I'm kind of branching out and trying to plant the seeds on social media. So thank you.
Thank you. So exciting, Leslie. I mean, and I'm looking forward to, hearing more about what you're doing with your group and in your practice, and seeing and hearing you on Clubhouse as well, and on Instagram. Well, thank you again. And sign up for Leslie's class. It's a great opportunity to learn more and to just be healthier and happier, you know? um,
Absolutely.
and have a wonderful new moon, dark moon, to kind of clear away all the cobwebs of the things that we don't need anymore in our lives. And have a wonderful Wednesday. And this is Amy Uzunian, and you are listening to the Mood Connect podcast. And I look forward to speaking with you again in the future. Here, speaking to you again in the future. Um, and I will be having our next guest on Friday, Kalina Powell. She is a really dynamic and amazing woman, who is building more awareness around the deaf community in the entrepreneurial world. So stay tuned for that on Friday. But thank you again, Leslie, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too, hon. Sending wonderful wishes, and just for everybody out there to have a great rest of your week. And I appreciate this conversation today.
All right. And I'll be going to end live.